Hi everyone, this is Debbie Henderson from Debbie's Designs. Just going to give it a couple seconds, make sure everybody's chiming in. Hi Brianna, hi Sandy. Glad you guys are here. This is the first time I do Facebook Live this late in the afternoon. We'll get started here in a moment. Okay, let's get started. I told you guys I was going to do an Easter card today. Hi Pam. This is the card I'm going to be making with you. It has a little bit of everything. We're going to do some watercoloring, some die cutting, some embossing. You can see the white there, that's embossed. A little bit of the lace doilies. So we're going to get started. I'm using the Hold On to Hope stamp set and the Coordinating Cross of Hope framelits dies. I haven't used this set too much yet. I think I've used it twice, so I'm glad to be using it today. Now, you'll find this in the Occasions catalog, and of course you can buy the bundle and save 10%. So you get the stamp set and the dies, and then the catalog items for the bundle. Let me list all the pieces you need. Emerald Envy, 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. I'm using my little stickies again like I used to, just so I won't mess up on the sizes. Whisper White, 4 1/2 by 3 1/4. Watercolor paper, 4 1/4 by 3. Silver foil, and this is just a scrap to cut the cross out of, so you don't need a specific size. A piece of adhesive sheet that's going to go on the back of the silver foil. A lace doily, and I've used partial cuts here. I'm going to finish using it for this card. I've gone ahead and stamped the banner and the butterfly, and that's with Emerald Envy ink, which is the ink we're going to be using along with Versamark and Lemon Lime Twist. Stamping dimensionals, mini dimensionals, and then the Lemon Lime Twist ombre ribbon. I love this ribbon. I get a little strip here for the cross. And other than that, all we need is the white embossing powder and a heat tool. So let me clear this so we can get started. Hi Sandy, hi Diane. Okay, I'm going to score. First thing I'm going to do is bring in the Emerald Envy ink. And I'm going to use this cute little corner image. So we're going to use Emerald Envy ink on Emerald Envy cardstock. I'm going to stamp each corner. I hope you guys don't hear too much noise in the background. We had a big snowstorm and it is windy out today, so I can hear the wind. Okay, next I'm going to work on the watercoloring because it needs to dry. I'm going to bring in my embossing buddy. And if you missed my explanation of this the other day, this is to take out the static and like the greasy fingerprints off of the watercolor paper. Okay, now I'm going to bring in the Versamark ink, and I'm using this flower image. I'm going to actually stamp it twice. Now when you're stamping on watercolor paper, hold it a little bit longer than you would because it absorbs it a little different than cardstock does. And of course you guys can't see this right now, but there is ink on there. This is my white embossing powder. Okay, so now you can see I kind of made like a round wreath in the center. And somebody was asking me about my container for my embossing powder. I do have rice in here. I don't know if you can see. And that's to help with the moisture so that my embossing powder doesn't go bad. And this is from a bottle of pills. I don't know what these are called, but that absorbs moisture also. Okay, now I'm going to bring in the heat tool, so I'm going to be making a little bit of noise. And you'll see this turn white, a bright white, once it starts melting. Okay, there we go. And I always like to tilt it to make sure it's shiny so that I didn't miss any spots. I have a lot of my local girls begging me to do an embossing class. I'm going to be doing that soon. We're almost done here. Okay, now I'm going to bring in the Emerald Envy, and I want to make sure there's ink in the lid. So we're doing the emboss-resist technique with this. I'm going to spray this down with a water bottle. And then I'm going to dip and just spread the color. And this will actually dry very lightly, a lot lighter than what you see. Now I'm going to do the lemon lime twist. And I'll probably end up having to dry this with the heat tool. Okay, now I'm mixing the two colors. Okay, so I'm just going to leave this alone and work on the rest of the card for now. But see how the color resisted the embossing, so the white shows up? Hi, Fran. Okay, now I'm going to bring in the big shot. We're going to cut the cross out. And we're using this little fancy one. The first thing I'm going to do is add the adhesive sheet to the back. And this is going to make it easy for me to glue down the cross once it's cut. So let me bring my big shot in. Now, one thing that I had to do with this die, I had to add a shim, and that may not be the case with your big shot. Every big shot is different. I've just learned that with mine, on these fancy dies, I just add, this is actually a piece of cardboard from the designer paper packs. Okay, and I might have to do this again. Let me see if these will pop out for me. Okay, I'm using the die brush and they're actually coming out really good. And what's left there is the adhesive sheet. Okay, so that's already sticky. This peeled right off. And all I have to do is poke out some of the little pieces. I just have a few left that didn't come out. I think the adhesive sheet is actually holding it there. Okay, so that's my cross. Isn't that pretty? Okay, let me put that aside. And now let's go ahead and glue some of the pieces. Now for the doily, you can see that I only used a couple little pieces at the top. And what I did is I actually just counted 3 of the scallops. And I even have another piece there to use for another card. That's going to go on the underside of the white. So just a little piece on each end. And then we'll glue this. Oh, thanks for sharing, you guys. You guys have been helping me a lot with my traffic on my Facebook page by sharing. I appreciate that. Okay, and this is going to go right there. Now I'm going to bring in the watercolor paper back in, and you'll see how much lighter that is already. So let me dry this a little bit so we can glue it in place. Hi, Marlene. Hi, Kelly. It's okay if you guys are late. If you missed anything, you can always go back and view later. So if you missed it, we're doing the emboss-resist technique, which I did with the watercolor. Okay, that should be dry enough. Now I'm going to bring in my stamping dimensionals. And whenever I use watercolor paper, because it warps a little bit like you see here, I use a ton of dimensionals. Some of you guys are probably going to cringe because, yeah, that's a lot of dimensionals. But it assures you that your paper won't bow after you glue it down. The worst part is peeling all of the backings off. I think I only got one more. Yep. Okay, now I'm going to glue this in place. Okay, so you can see how flat that is now. It just takes all of the warping out. Okay, now I'm going to bring in my little cross and my little strip of ribbon. And what I did here is I threaded this through the back and then back towards the front. Let me just get a little bit more here on the end. And then this is going to go this way. And then this one is going to go this way. So see how quick that was? I just threaded it right through the cross. And now I'm just going to trim those. And then this already has the adhesive on the back because we use the adhesive sheet. And that glues on there nicely. Okay, now I need to find my little butterfly. I get little silver things all over my fingers. Okay, now I'm going to use the mini dimensionals on the butterfly. Oh, thanks, Marlene. I'm glad you liked the card. And then we're going to do the regular dimensionals for the banner. And that's going to go right below the cross. So see how quick that was? So again, we had the emboss-resist, the watercoloring, the die cutting with the adhesive sheet, the doilies. We had a little bit of everything. And I can't believe how quick I made this card with you guys watching. So I know you guys can do this too. If you don't have this set, I'm sure you have a cross that you like, that you can use. It doesn't even have to be with all these designs here. You could always use just a plain cross with just cardstock if you don't have one, and then wrap the ribbon towards the back like I did. So I hope you enjoyed my card for today. Thanks for coming in on a Friday afternoon. And I hope you have a good weekend. I'm going to see my new granddaughter tomorrow, so I won't be around to do any videos tomorrow, but I'll see you soon and I'll announce my next video. Thanks, everyone.